Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including Tesla incentives starting to disappear, Cybertruck sales slowing, Tesla stock predictions, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla's 0% APR incentive has officially ended, meaning rates for a new Model Y and 3 purchase for the time being are back up to 5.99% APR. This was expected and what Tesla communicated to customers, with the deal ending on the 15th. So now many are awaiting what deals Tesla may still offer next this year. I made a full video about this and my predictions here, linked below, but I personally expect Tesla may offer 6 months or more of free supercharging, along with something like steeper inventory discounts as we get closer to the 31st. They are going for a record quarter, so they will do whatever they can to ship the rest of these cars. On the other side of things though, Tesla looks forward to producing their new lineup of affordable vehicles, and to bring down transportation costs as a whole using the Cybercab. While they await that, they still produce their original luxury vehicles, the Model S and Model X. While Tesla is known to adjust the pricing of their cars quite often, the overall trend here has been for vehicle prices to go down over time. Just a few days ago, however, Tesla actually raised the price of the Model S sedan for all trims. Both the standard all-wheel drive and plaid trims of this vehicle have seen a $5,000 price increase. This brings this car's price right in line with Tesla's other luxury vehicles, the Model X and Cybertruck, with the all-wheel drive version at $79,990. It also perfectly matches the Model X with the plaid version at $94,990. Even though the Model X is quite a bit bigger than the Model S and includes features like those falcon wing doors, these two vehicles now have the same starting price tag. While this move may seem strange to some on the surface, it actually coincides with a really great returning incentive. Customers who place an order for a new Model S are now eligible for lifetime free supercharging. So essentially, you're paying an extra $5,000 for all the charging that you want during your ownership. This incentive doesn't stay with the car if you sell or transfer ownership, but if you plan to keep this car for a long time, then this is a great deal. If you road trip or charge on the road a lot, then those supercharger prices can start to add up quickly. This removes that pressure, and if you keep this car for a long time, you will eventually start to save quite a bit of money. It's unknown how long this incentive may stick around, as there is no end date listed in the promotion details. This is definitely a very compelling deal to some who are already in this price range for a vehicle, and it's cool to see Tesla trying new ways of pushing sales on these vehicles. I personally know some people who are still holding on to a Model S that has free lifetime supercharging, and they charge all of the time completely free with their car, so it looks like Tesla is appealing to a new group of customers that are going to want that. At the same time, for those that don't plan to supercharge a lot in their Model S, this is simply a $5,000 price increase for this car, now up to $80,000 in line with the Cybertruck and Model X. This, along with the 0% APR disappearing for the Model 3 and Y, does seem to mark the start of certain Tesla incentives disappearing. I still think we'll see more last-minute ones for the year, but then things will cool off a bit in 2025, most likely, until Tesla really gets going on sales again. With the Juniper release come 2025 as well, the Model Y could definitely see a price increase if demand soars, so the season of incredible Tesla deals may be coming to a close in the next few weeks. Next up today, as we approach the end of the year, the big news for 2025 is of course Tesla's Model Y refresh. This car has been anticipated since September of last year, when the Model 3 refresh came out of Tesla's Chinese factory. There have been a lot of rumors about this car, and I recently made a full video about when we expect this to be released and everything we expect for that car, linked below, but now a new prototype has been spotted in the wild, showing us a bit more. This was spotted out testing in the rain, reportedly in New York City, and has a number of similarities to other Juniper models spotted in the wild. It's the same basic car, however the front and rear have coverage, since those are the main places that have been changed. The license plate is floating in the cover to help draw less attention here, but that's because the plate is fully expected to drop down below the hatch. That's where the actual mount will be. Here's another prototype spotted in Spain that clearly shows the license plate below the trunk line. Some have wondered how Tesla will manage to fit the rear plate and tow hitch under the hatch, and it seems they're going to achieve this with a much larger diffuser than before. Comparing side by side with the current Model Y, we can see that rear diffuser is outlined in this cover, and it's sitting a few inches higher than the current model. In practice, this could put the Model Y's trunk opening a bit higher, or maybe they are changing its design to eliminate some of the body below that line. Likely, whatever they can manufacture the easiest will be the change, but one big repair cost for cars like this is the rear hatch. Even in a simple rear ending, since it hangs over and sticks out, this entire piece with rear glass requires replacement. I experienced that twice with my 2020 Model Y. And we know that Tesla is constantly iterating based on the insurance side of their business to help mitigate repair costs from a design perspective. Here, this change could be a mixture of a cosmetic change with one that helps lessen the need for that entire hatch to be replaced in a simple accident. Of course, that's all speculation based on a blurry video of this prototype spotted in the rain, but that shape does seem to pretty clearly be the rear diffuser, and it's sitting quite a bit higher than before. That's a lot of focus on the rear, but here's a look at what many expect to see from the front for this car. To me, it looks a lot like the Chevy Blazer EV, but of course, it will be a big change for the Model Y's look regardless. Next up today, faster charging is one of the most important technologies that EV makers are working on across the board. Take, for example, the Cybertruck. This truck is extremely technologically advanced in a number of ways, but one of the most interesting and forward-looking features of this vehicle is its high-voltage electric system. At this point, nowhere can support its upper limit of 500 kilowatts just yet, but Tesla still included that capability in order to future-proof this vehicle. Just recently, we've seen a few major improvements coming to Tesla's charging that will enable this truck to really utilize these capabilities. Tesla recently announced on X that the Cybertruck can now charge at speeds up to 325 kilowatts on V4 superchargers. These speeds are currently attainable on stalls that use the pre-existing V3 cabinets, but with the rollout of the upcoming V4 cabinets in 2025, those speeds will jump up to 500 kilowatt peak. Previously, the Cybertruck was limited to the same 250 kilowatt speeds of other Tesla vehicles, so it's very exciting to see them rolling out this capability that they've talked about. Immediately, we saw Cybertruck owners take their vehicles out to test these new charging speeds. One owner brought their truck in with an 8% charge and added an additional 88.09 kilowatt hours to bring it up to 80%. Obviously, when we look at this data, it's important to remember that this vehicle is still impacted by the charging curve. The vehicle's charging speed will start to slow down as the battery is more filled, so although it won't be charging at maximum speed the whole time, it will still dramatically speed up the whole charging process by getting to faster peak speeds. The charge curve peaked at around 14%, where it went up to 321 kilowatts for this customer, and then dropped quickly from there. Still, it remained close to 250 kilowatts until around 30% charge. Previous supercharging speeds would have tapered off earlier than that, as 250 kilowatts was previously its peak. Charging from 8 to 40% took the Cybertruck around 10 minutes, and then from 8 to 80% was 35 minutes total. The Cybertruck has a very large battery, so these speeds enabled this truck to charge up at a very quick relative speed. I'm excited to see those V4 cabinets start to roll out, as we'll see charging speeds dramatically improve from there on. In more Cybertruck news, while this truck very quickly rose through the ranks to become the best-selling electric pickup truck in the nation, it seems like that demand might be tapering off already. Tesla ended production of the Foundation series of this truck back in October, and it turns out that the company is still having trouble clearing out its remaining inventory. Across the United States, Foundation series trucks are listed on their inventory page for those same high prices of $119,990 for the Cyber Beast and $99,990 for the dual-motor all-wheel drive. Dozens of these models are listed for sale across the US, with some local delivery centers sitting on a lot of them in reserve. It seems as though Tesla has really hit the upper limit on customers who were interested in buying one of these exclusively trimmed vehicles. It's a $20,000 markup on the price compared to the normal version of this vehicle, which already saw a large price increase from its original announcement. This isn't necessarily a terrible idea if you want to get all those features, but a lot of people are clearly okay with the base trims at this point. In fact, Tesla has reportedly been buffing out this Foundation Series badge on some of these leftover vehicles to sell them as a normal edition. A big part of the Foundation Series deal is that it includes the FSD package, but since that is just software, they can easily remove it. Since some of these trucks will have other upgrades, like the cyber wheels and the white interior, it's unknown what Tesla will sell these debadged trucks for, but it will definitely be for less than the full Foundation Series price. I imagine it will just be normal pricing. It is expected that Tesla will be doing this to at least 800 Cybertrucks, where many will be shipped to Canada to be put on sale. Even though sales of this truck are still decent, it really seems like demand for the Cybertruck has actually been lower than Tesla anticipated. We know that production was paused for a few days earlier this month, but based on data collected by Troy Teslike, it seems like the slowdown came even earlier than that. Tesla ended Q3 of this year with a little over 9,000 Cybertrucks in inventory. This was likely an intentional move on their part, as they discontinued the Foundation series at the beginning of October and dropped the price by $20,000. This caused a big spike in demand and sales, as people could now buy one of these vehicles at a price at least a little bit closer to what was expected when they made the reservation. Then, only a month later, Tesla slowed Cybertruck production by a bit over 50%. At the end of that month, Tesla had so much in inventory that customers could place their order and pick up their truck on the same day. That led us into the production pause at the beginning of December. Clearly, Tesla is having a bit more trouble shipping units of this truck now than earlier this year. We can see that in this graph of known Cybertruck VINs, where they were growing rapidly early in the year and have since flattened out quite a bit. This is probably a sign that Tesla is going to need a price adjustment on this truck soon, but it seems to be tough for them at the moment. The cost of goods sold, based on Troy Tesla's calculation, seems to be about $106,400 for the long-range all-wheel drive, which Tesla sells now for $80,000. They achieved profitability on the Cybertruck previously thanks to Cyberbeast sales and Foundation Series pricing, but now that pricing has dropped, they are once again on the tear to bring down Cybertruck production cost and make it profitable. The number of people who were interested in buying one of these trucks at Foundation Series prices has clearly depleted, and a lot of people are still not willing to pay current prices, even with incentives like the $2,000 referral discount, $1,000 military discount, and 3 months of FSD and charging. We know that Tesla is planning to bring a cheaper rear-wheel drive variant to market, but we don't know exactly when that is coming. If it doesn't come soon and Tesla continues to sit on inventory, we may see them drop the price in order to keep moving units of existing trims, especially at the end of the quarter. Still, it's probably going to be a frustrating situation for current owners. Current owners may not be thrilled to see these prices drop so soon after they made their purchase, but it would still be a good way to promote sales. It will be very interesting to see what Tesla does here to push sales even further, and I hope that they can introduce that cheaper model to get this truck into more customers' hands. At the same time, there is the possibility that people just don't want the Cybertruck because it's too abnormal. However, I think that pricing is overall the biggest factor here, because once you drive one, it is a really great truck to drive. Next up today, one of the most important parts of scaling up EV production is increasing the availability of the required base materials. For a long time now, the world's supply of lithium has primarily come from China. About 2/3 of global production is within that country. As tariffs continue to stack up against China, domestic companies are expanding their own lithium refining as a way to ensure their independence with those battery materials. As the nation's largest EV makers, Tesla has a vested interest in promoting lithium production and has just taken some huge steps in building their own refining pipeline. Tesla recently shared a post on X with a major announcement out of Texas. They said, quote, "This week we fed raw material through our kiln of our lithium refinery outside of Corpus Christi, Texas for the very first time. Increasing lithium refining capacity is critical to a sustainable energy economy." This campus is the first large-scale facility in the US that will refine battery-grade lithium, and also will use a new acid-free refining method, meaning the process will use fewer hazardous materials and create more inert byproducts. When complete, this plant is expected to produce enough lithium for around 50 gigawatt hours of batteries per year. Here we can see a rendering of what the plant will look like when it's complete. On top of just producing lithium domestically in the US, this plant will be introducing a number of key efficiencies to the production process. As I mentioned earlier, Tesla will be dishing the toxic acids used in refining, like sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid, in favor of low-toxicity industrial reagents. This will eliminate some of the hazardous byproducts and residual acids of traditional methods in favor of byproducts like sand and limestone, which can be repurposed into building materials. Using these alkaline reagents will lead to reductions of natural gas usage to the tune of 35% over traditional processes. Lithium refinery has historically been a very dirty and high-impact industry, so these new processes will do a lot to make it more environmentally friendly going forward. Additionally, Tesla has implemented energy optimization and heat integration practices that will reduce their annual heating load by more than 14 megawatts per year. Again, this is another great example of Tesla leading the industry by implementing cost and energy-saving practices throughout the whole pipeline. Refining lithium in the US is very important for a lot of reasons, but doing it in an efficient manner is really going to make the whole EV production process even more sustainable. All of this is very promising, and I'm very excited to see how Tesla is able to ramp up this process and how much more efficient they can make it. Then I'm curious to see if they will be refining lithium for more than just themselves going forward. Next up today, Tesla is at a critical juncture in the history of the company. EV sales continue to grow and expand, but Tesla is lining themselves up as far more than just a car company. If they pay off, their investments into self-driving, AI, and robotics could radically reshape the world around us and make Tesla one of the biggest companies to exist. They have huge aspirations for what this tech can do for their business, and we are already seeing market analysts take these promises into account when making their own predictions for Tesla's future. Dan Ives, an analyst from Wedbush Securities, recently shared his predictions for the future of the tech industry in 2025, and he has some big hopes for Tesla. In light of recent US political changes, Ives believes that the company is entering a new era in regards to its autonomy and AI development. As restrictions on the tech are likely to be eased in the coming years, this, quote, total game changer has prompted him to raise the price target for Tesla up to $515 a share. By the end of 2025, he expects that Tesla could soar as high as $650 per share. This prediction came even before we saw the latest Tesla stock tear, bringing it up to the 470s. If Dan's predictions turn out to be true, that would see Tesla reach a market cap of over $2 trillion by the end of next year. Central to that goal is Tesla's autonomous vehicle initiatives. FSD is improving very rapidly, and he believes that if Tesla can launch the Cybercab by the start of 2026, then Tesla could potentially achieve this goal. As a point of comparison, Tesla just recently crossed the major threshold of being worth over $1 trillion. Ives specifically mentions that this prediction doesn't even include Tesla's potential earnings from Optimus and their robotics. So essentially, he thinks that their FSD systems and the Cybercab will be worth an additional $1 trillion alone in 2025. All of this is ultimately still just speculation, but it shows that some analysts feel very confident in Tesla's ability to produce real value with these products. FSD and autonomy are of course very exciting, and then we don't even know how much value Optimus will bring in the coming years as well. Tesla is definitely a company to watch closely in the coming years, and it's extremely exciting to see what they can do in 2025. As always, this is not financial advice. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. Over at Honda, they have unveiled year-end incentives for the all-electric Prologue SUV. For the first time, Honda is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months on the Prologue, which is a significant reduction from the previous 6.39% rate. In practice, this means a lower monthly payment for the Prologue if similarly priced, with no interest penalty for spreading it out longer. Compared to Honda's previous interest rates as well, this adjustment translates to substantial savings, eliminating over $10,000 in interest over a 6-year term. In addition to favorable financing, Honda provides up to $6,000 in dealer cash incentives. This includes a standard $5,000 dealer cash offer with an extra $1,000 available in California and other zero-emission vehicle states. These incentives can be combined with the federal EV tax credit of $7,500, significantly lowering the Prologue's effective purchase price. Leasing options are also very attractive, with monthly payments as low as $229 for 36 months, accompanied by $2,999 due at signing. Through all these initiatives, the Prologue has actually become one of the 5 top leased EVs in the US, trailing only models like the Tesla Model 3 and Y. So if you are interested in this car in particular, these offers are available through January 2nd, 2025. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see my full breakdown of Tesla's end-of-year incentives and what could be coming, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.